Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Donnell, and I'm the entomologist at the Norfolk County Mosquito Control District. Today I'm going to be talking about personal repellents that you can use to prevent mosquito and tick bites while you're enjoying the outdoors. There are many different types of EPA-approved repellents out there, and wearing repellents is one of the best ways to protect yourself from mosquito and tick-borne diseases. Today I'll be going over some of the most common ingredients that you'll see in repellents on the shelves. These are DEET, picaridin, IR3535, and oil of lemon eucalyptus. I'll also talk about permethrin at the end, but this is not a repellent. Some things to remember when you're applying repellents. Always follow the directions on the bottle. This will tell you how to apply and how often to reapply so that the product remains effective. It's a good idea to avoid your eyes and your mouth and try to prevent ingestion of the product. You also want to avoid any open wounds or irritated skin that you might have. Light overall coverage is best. There's no need to over-apply. And it's a good idea to wash your hands, especially if you're going to be eating or drinking. The first ingredient we'll talk about is DEET. You look in the active ingredient list and look for the word DEET, and then you'll see the concentration in that particular product. You want to look for concentrations of 30% or less. DEET is effective at these lower concentrations. DEET works by preventing the insects that bite us from finding us, and it can be applied directly to your skin. The American Academy of Pediatrics has suggestions for using DEET on children. DEET is safe for use on children older than 2 months old. You should always apply the product for children and not let them apply it themselves, and avoid applying it to their hands. When using DEET on children, you should use a lower concentration of around 10%. However, if disease risk in your area is high, you can go up to 30%. The next ingredient that we'll talk about today is picaridin. Once again, you look at that active ingredient list, look for the word picaridin. When you're looking at a picaridin product, you want to look for a concentration of 20%. Many people prefer this to DEET because it doesn't have that same strong scent that DEET has, and it is just as effective in most studies. It works against both mosquitoes and ticks, and it doesn't dissolve synthetic fibers and plastics the way that DEET does, so it is a very popular option. Up next is oil of lemon eucalyptus. This is extracted from eucalyptus plants and is a good natural alternative to the repellents we mentioned before. However, it's important to note that it's not registered for use on children younger than 3 years old. Studies show that this is a very effective repellent, but it might need to be reapplied more often than DEET or picaridin, so make sure you follow the directions on the bottle. Next is IR3535. This is a trademarked name for the ingredient in these products. It is shown to be as effective in DEET in many studies, and it's effective against mosquitoes and ticks. Lastly, we'll talk about permethrin. This is not a repellent. This is a product that actually kills mosquitoes and ticks on contact, so you do not want to apply it to your skin. You only apply it to clothing and gear, shoes and socks. Some tips when you're using the product: you want to lay out your clothes in a well-ventilated area when you're applying. You can also buy pre-treated clothing and gear that comes with permethrin already embedded in the fabric. When you're purchasing permethrin products, look for a concentration of 0.5%. Once again, you do not apply this to your skin, you apply it only to gear and clothing, and it is very effective against ticks.